So switching gears a little bit, how would you compare? And I know you've covered this a lot on your show, and I've watched your coverage, but how would you compare what happened with Jeremy Corbyn over in the UK to what happened with Bernie Sanders? Looking at it now,
he was. It's so similar, Ron, because he was caught in a pincer movement. Jeremy Corbyn was. He was caught in a pincer movement. It was his own PLP, and obviously you got the media and everything. It was all, they were never going to let him be prime minister. It was just, that was clear. And to an ordinary working class voter like me, I was looking at it, was just thinking, well, you're clearly not. You're just thumbing in the eye of democracy here, are you? This is clearly the will of the people doesn't matter here. And it's so similar to what's happened over there, because I think Bernie was caught in a pincer movement as well. He couldn't, he was having to placate within this two-party system. And he was having to do that. I mean, even Tulsi was saying you couldn't do anything outside that two-party system. So he was having to work within the realms of that system. And whenever you're in that situation, as he was and as Bernie was, your opponents are in front of you. He's got the Republicans there, Bernie has, and Jeremy Corbyn's got the Conservatives there. They're your opponents. His enemy is behind him, in his own party, in his own backbenches. His enemy is in the Labour Party, and it's come out, recently, what we all knew, that the Parliamentary Labour Party were actively hamstringing him. They were actively trying to stop him from winning, and he come very, very close to winning in 2017. If it wasn't for the Parliamentary Labour Party doing what they did in 2017, most people say that he would have won. It's very similar, and you have to ask why. I mean, I have a theory with Jeremy Corbyn, and let me explain to you what it is. See, I think he didn't want to win. I think he is responsible for COVID-19 because, now hear me out, Ron, because this is genius. Because if you think about it, who does Jeremy Corbyn dislike? Well, the banks. He doesn't like the banks, and right now the banks are absolutely crapping themselves. He doesn't like the look like the. He doesn't like the stock market. He doesn't like J.C. Morgan. He doesn't like all these people. They're running around like headless chickens now as well. He doesn't necessarily, he's not a big fan of the royal family. Well, Prince Charles caught COVID-19 and hashtag abolish the monarchy started trending on Twitter. So, all of the people that Jeremy Corbyn doesn't like, and all the people that don't like Jeremy Corbyn, all of a sudden they're crapping themselves through this COVID. And then if you actually factor in what does Jeremy Corbyn really stand up for? Well, he stands up for the working people, the working class of this country. And who do we love at the moment? The essential worker, the working class, the nurse, the doctor. These are the people that Jeremy Corbyn has been championing. Are you listening to me, Ron? And then if you add in, hold on, wait a minute. Jeremy Corbyn always says we need to look after the elderly and the sick and the vulnerable. Who is forefront in our minds right now? The elderly, the sick, the vulnerable. And then if you factor in the fact that we're all thinking right now of growing our own vegetables, and Jeremy Corbyn's a goddamn gardener with an allotment. He's the evil genius behind this. Man. It's Andy. It's Jeremy Corbyn. He didn't want to win. He had COVID-19.
So wait a second. Did he make sure Boris Johnson got it too? Was that him? Was he behind that?
Exactly. Think about it. Bobby's got it.
He gave it to Boris. Fits. I can't disprove that. That's pretty solid, Gordon.
Alex Jones has got nothing on me, mate.
So, but here's the thing. In the States, a lot of our media kind of took the exact wrong analysis and interpretation of what really went down there. And then a lot of us, especially those of us on the left, were screaming at the top of our lungs that, like, no, you're completely missing it, because they said, well, the thing is that Jeremy Corbyn tried to push everything too far left and people just weren't having it. And we were... Thank you.
No. No. He made the mistake, the same mistakes that Bernie Sanders made. He made the same mistakes that, let's face it, every progressive that tries to go into the Labour Party or the Democratic Party makes. They go in and they placate the centrists, and they move ever towards the centre until before you knew it, he wasn't standing up for Trident. Until before you knew it, he wasn't standing up for the rights of Palestinians. All of his life, all of his life, Jeremy Corbyn has stood up for the rights of Palestinians. And what did they try and do when he became leader? They hit him with a ridiculous anti-Semitic smear.
Yeah.
I mean, this is his opportunity, Ron, to put the rights of Palestinians in what he believes is a crushing oppression and a crushing illegal occupation. He can put them right and front and center. As soon as they hit him with that smear, he can say, no, this is actually a trick. And he can explain, no, I'm just standing up for Palestinian Arabs, who, by the way, are Semites, and they will never hit him with that again, because the last thing
it's
they
worse
want
than
to
a
do
trick.
is have Israel's crimes front and center.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, it's the equivalent over here. We play football. You don't. You call it football, but football. Anyway, it's the equivalent of the wingers crossed it over to you. The goalkeeper's nowhere to be seen. All you've got to do is tap the ball in the net. And instead of doing that with this ridiculous smear, he decided to try and dribble it around 4 players, go 40 yards out, do some keep you up in the middle of the park, try an overhead kick, making some broader points about racism of all kinds.
See, I think it's like he had the ball and he had a clear shot on goal, but someone from Labour, which was the team he had to play for, was like, no, pass it to the other guy, and then they'll pass it. And then they just screwed it up, and he never got the ball back.
Absolutely.
They missed exactly the net completely.
It's exactly what has happened. And
we're crushing it in the analogy department today.
Yeah, I was up. I too got high last night. Right?
Yeah, and you were writing this shit out.
I came up with.
You were like, Ron's gonna ask to be my roommate, and then in football, we're going there. Who's your team?
We wouldn't get anything done, mate.
I know, right?
It'd be like it'd be like, what was his name, Kumar from White Castle or whatever it was called. Harold and Kumar.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your